The date is March 24, 1991. Within the Los Angeles Memorial Sports Arena, the grand stage of WrestleMania VII is alive with fervor, packed to the rafters with 16,000 exuberant wrestling fans. The Big Boss Man, dressed in his iconic blue police uniform and twirling his nightstick, steps into the ring to face Mr. Perfect for the Intercontinental Championship. This was no ordinary contest. It was a battle of styles, charisma, and determination, a showcase of what made professional wrestling in the early 1990s an unmissable spectacle. Boss Man wasn't just wrestling Mr. Perfect, he was challenging an era. Mr. Perfect, the slick and arrogant technician, seemed untouchable, while Boss Man, with his everyman demeanor, represented the grit and resolve of working-class America. Their clash wasn't just about a title, it was about principles, pride, and the drama of competition. The match ended in chaos as Haku and The Barbarian stormed the ring to assault Boss Man, leaving him battered but unbroken, victorious by disqualification. Even without claiming the title, his performance cemented his status as one of the Federation's most captivating heroes during its golden era. But triumph is often fleeting. As the Big Boss Man basked in his career's zenith, the tragedy of his later years loomed like a shadow in the distance. A man who had embodied law and order for millions would later find himself struggling with health issues and personal challenges that culminated in his untimely death at just 41 years old. What caused this downward spiral? Was it the physical toll of the wrestling lifestyle, the emotional weight of fading stardom, or something deeper? These are the haunting questions that linger over the legacy of Ray Washington Traylor Jr., known to the world as the Big Boss Man. To understand his story, we must journey back to Paulding County, Georgia, where Traylor's life began. Born on May 2, 1963 in Marietta, Ray grew up with values rooted in hard work and resilience. As a young man, Traylor's imposing size and natural athleticism made him stand out. Graduating high school, Traylor joined the Cobb County Sheriff's Department as a corrections officer, where the harsh realities of the criminal justice system seeped into his consciousness and germinated the authentic roots of his future wrestling persona. His law enforcement experience became the crucible from which the Big Boss Man would emerge, a character forged not from mere performance, but from the first-hand understanding of authority, discipline, and the razor's edge between order and chaos. In 1985, Traylor emerged from the wrestling periphery, transforming from a jobber facing wrestling luminaries to Dusty Rhodes' strategic repackaging as Big Bubba Rogers, a menacing silent bodyguard for Jim Cornette, who rapidly ascended from an emerging talent to a formidable heel. His meteoric rise culminated in a series of legendary bunkhouse stampede matches against Rhodes and a defining Louisville Street Fight victory at Starrcade 1986, establishing him as a wrestler of profound potential and visceral intensity. His big break came when he joined the World Wrestling Federation in 1988. Vince McMahon, always with a keen eye for marketable personas, transformed Traylor into the Big Boss Man, a character inspired by Traylor's stint as a corrections officer. Dressed in his signature uniform and wielding a nightstick, Boss Man was an embodiment of law enforcement during a time when the Federation thrived on larger-than-life characters. He was both feared and admired, a stern enforcer who could command a crowd with a simple glare. In his early Federation days, Boss Man was a villain of the highest order, a brutish disciplinarian who aligned himself with the nefarious Slick. Boss Man transformed post-match rituals into law enforcement theater, systematically subduing and publicly humiliating opponents by handcuffing them to ring ropes and administering punitive beatings. His feuds with Hulk Hogan and Randy Savage were not just matches, they were battles of morality, with Boss Man serving as a formidable and cunning adversary. His infamous steel cage match against Hogan in 1989 remains one of the era's most memorable bouts, showcasing Boss Man's ability to combine his raw power with surprising athleticism for a man of his size. He wasn't just a powerhouse, he was a performer who understood how to draw the audience into the drama of a match. In a seismic alliance that reconfigured the wrestling landscape, Boss Man joined Akeem to form the Twin Towers, a devastating tag team that became a pivotal catalyst in the epic Mega Powers dissolution, serving as the narrative fulcrum for the legendary WrestleMania VII main event between Macho Man and Hulk Hogan. On this same night, the Twin Towers unleashed a brutal assault on the Rockers, then embarked on a summer-long gladiatorial campaign against Demolition, battling ferociously for the tag team championship in a narrative of raw, unrelenting barbarity. But like many great wrestling characters, the Big Boss Man's arc evolved. In a paradigm-shifting moment of moral recalibration, Big Boss Man transcended the mercenary wrestling archetype on the February 24, 1990 episode of Superstars, rejecting the $1 Million Man's blood money and returning Jake Roberts' python-laden bag, thus transforming from heel to face through an act of unexpected integrity. The corrupt cop gimmick gave way to a principled enforcer who stood for justice. After his moral metamorphosis, Boss Man obliterated former partner Akeem in a sub-2-minute WrestleMania VI evisceration, simultaneously orchestrating a friendship with Hogan. This narrative represented more than a mere character pivot. It was a calculated evolution of wrestling's performative ethics, culminating in his alliance with Hogan, Jim Duggan, and Tugboat at the 1990 Survivor Series. Subsequently, Boss Man embarked on a scorched earth campaign against Bobby Heenan and his family after relentless maternal aspersions, vanquishing Heenan's acolytes with surgical precision, leading to a Royal Rumble triumph over The Barbarian and the aforementioned disqualification victory against Mr. Perfect at WrestleMania VII. Then at SummerSlam, Boss Man engaged in the Federation's sole jailhouse match against the Mountie, emerging victorious in a contest of law enforcement supremacy. In 1992, Big Boss Man feuded with Nails, a vengeful ex-convict character who accused him of prison abuse in pre-debut promos. On Superstars, Nails, wearing an orange prison jumpsuit, attacked Boss Man, handcuffing him to the ropes and beating him with a nightstick. After recovering from his kayfabe injuries, Boss Man returned to face Nails in a series of matches, culminating in a nightstick on a pole match at Survivor Series, which Boss Man won. His final pay-per-view appearance came at the 1993 Royal Rumble, where he suffered a loss to Bam Bam Bigelow. As the golden era of wrestling gave way to the grittier, more chaotic Attitude Era, Boss Man's character underwent another transformation, returning to the Federation in 1998 after a 5-year run with World Championship Wrestling. He became a corporate enforcer for Vince McMahon's villainous corporation faction. The once noble officer of the law was now a hired thug, willing to do McMahon's bidding with ruthless efficiency. While some fans lamented this darker turn, it showcased Trailer's ability to adapt and stay relevant in an industry that was rapidly changing. His feuds during this era were as controversial as they were memorable, from tormenting Al Snow with a nightmarish storyline involving Snow's pet dog to facing The Undertaker in the infamous Hell in a Cell match at WrestleMania 15, Boss Man remained a fixture on Federation programming. These moments, while polarizing, demonstrated his willingness to push boundaries and remain a compelling character even as the wrestling landscape shifted dramatically. Yet behind the scenes, the physical and emotional cost of the wrestling lifestyle was beginning to take its toll. Like many of his peers, he struggled with the demands of an industry that often prioritized performance over well-being. In May 2002, Trailer was severely injured in a motorcycle accident after colliding with a deer, leading to a year-long recovery. The ordeal left him physically battered, and his grief deepened with the 2003 passing of his close friend Curt Hennig, a loss that weighed heavily on him. On September 22, 2004, a 41-year-old Trailer succumbed to a heart attack at his home in Dallas, Georgia, leaving a lasting void in the wrestling world. Curt Hennig's untimely death, linked to a fatal mix of cocaine, steroids, and painkillers, underscores professional wrestling's pervasive struggles with substance abuse. Trailer's close bond with Hennig and his own premature passing inevitably raise questions about whether similar factors may have influenced his fate. While such speculation requires sensitivity, examining these issues is vital to understanding the challenges wrestlers face beyond the ring and the systemic pressures that often accompany their careers. Yet regardless of the factors contributing to his tragic early passing, Ray Trailer's legacy endures. The Big Boss Man character remains one of the most iconic personas in wrestling history, a testament to Trailer's talent and charisma. In 2016, he was posthumously inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, a recognition of his contributions to an industry that he helped shape during its most transformative years. The Big Boss Man may no longer patrol the squared circle, but his memory lives on in the hearts of those who cheered for him, booed him, and ultimately admired the man behind the badge. Another legend who also lives on is none other than Roddy Piper. If you want to uncover his incredible yet tragic true-life story, including his epic WrestleMania III victory, then I invite you to click the thumbnail appearing on your screen right now. Thank you for watching.